Hi, hello, and welcome. I'm definitely not Vlad, and you're watching me talk about nameplates in the Midnight Beta. When I heard all the changes that Blizzard was proposing when it comes to add-ons, I was very worried about nameplates specifically. Nameplates display a lot of combat information in a very efficient way on retail right now. And that's the exact thing that Blizzard has limited through all these changes to the API when it comes to add-ons and how they display information to us. So I was very worried going into Midnight that this would be a big problem for us, considering that Blizzard has about 20 years of nameplate add-on development to catch up with. So let's go through the settings that we have available. First off, there's the usual stuff where we can choose whether we're showing names and stuff like that. We can also choose who has the nameplates displayed above their heads and so on and so forth. Further down here, we come to an interesting option, which is show off-screen nameplates. And what it means is basically, if you're in combat with something and you move those enemies off-screen, that nameplate will still actually stay active on your screen. So it'll be at the edge of the screen, and this is sort of a normal behavior. This is what we're used to, but we can disable that if we want to. For some reason, disabling it just continues doing the same thing. It just moves it. So I don't know what the difference is at this point. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't change mid-combat or something. Oh, no, now it's done, and the setting's off, and if I hit this and move, it still shows the freaking... Bro, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, no, it's kind of spotty. Okay, whatever. Anyway, I think that's the idea, is it can be seen if you have it on. It can't be seen if you don't have it on. I don't know what to tell you. Another new setting is stacking nameplates. Now you can choose whether friendly or enemy units or both are going to be stacking their nameplates. I think this is incredible. This is very useful. I'm already thinking of situations where as a tank, I have a frontal that's about to be aimed at me, and I want to aim it away from all of my DPS players that are in melee. I'll point it right at some range, and I don't give a shit. They can move. I don't care. I gotta look out for my melee guys. Jokes aside, why is this useful in that situation? Well, I can choose to not stack friendly nameplates, which means I'll just see exactly where my friendly players' nameplates are, and I'll know where to not point the frontal. It won't interfere with the nameplates of enemy units, so I'll be able to just keep track of all the information on the enemy units without having to sacrifice the location of where my players are. So I think this is wonderful. This is a great change. Now, here we have a preview of the nameplates as we have them right now. You can change the size as well. I prefer size number 2. You can change the size of debuffs as that goes up and down. Let's put a debuff on this guy, and as you can see, that changes as I scroll this around. So one little problem I have with this is the ratio of height and width. I don't really like it. If we could adjust that, that would be awesome. So what I would like to be able to achieve is a very girthy but short nameplate. Nameplate, dude, calm down, stop giggling. I want this thing to need a girth certificate, I swear to God. As it stands right now, these are a bit too long and take up a bit too much of the screen, but I do like the idea of them being a little bit higher, taller. I don't know how to say it, but you get what I mean, though. I want their height to be proportional. And we have crashed yet again. Whenever I'm doing something with these, it always crashes. So be advised, as you fiddle with this preview thing, your game will just start crashing randomly. So that's great. Let's try this again now, huh? As I start the game, I get ready to get flashbanged by the starting screen. Jesus, that's bright. I don't know why that's a thing, by the way. That's a little bit weird. Last time that happened, I got stuck on a loading screen for like 5 minutes, so hopefully it doesn't happen again. This is like my 5th attempt at recording this video. Great success. We are back. So let's go over to the nameplate options, and hopefully that doesn't crash me again. So yeah, I would like some more customization options when it comes to the size. Either the ratio of height and width, or the option to just set my own specific height and width, like many add-ons supported previously. Now, when it comes to presentation style, they have different ways to show you the information. So the gist of it is you are customizing the thickness of the health bar and the thickness of the cast bar and the position of the text relative to the cast bar. So if we use block, we get a thick health bar and a thick cast bar with the text inside. If we use modern, we get a thinner cast bar with the text outside. If we use thin, we get a thin everything, as you might have imagined. And if you use cast focus, we'll have a thick cast bar with the text inside and a thin nameplate. I personally prefer block. It reminds me very much of how Plater works currently on retail, so that's what I'm going to go with. And I don't know what default is. Default, I think, is just thin. I don't know why they have two different ones. Okay, Blizzard, okay. And we're back. Let's go back to nameplate settings. Next up, we can choose what information is being... Never mind, we can't. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Well, all right. Maybe it's having nameplates and showing the nameplate settings at the same time that's causing the crash. So let's try over here. By the way, if my transmog looks horrible, it's because transmog is currently disabled on on the beta. So yeah. Anyway, I swear I'm not a hobo. Please don't crash. Let me show these settings. So we can choose to show health percentage, health value, and the rarity icon. The rarity icon shows up to the left here. It shows us whether it's an elite or a rare, or maybe even a boss. And then the health percentage and health value, if we look at some, let's say, a target this guy over here, this is the health, and this is the health percentage. Wow, it didn't crash. Very good. Aggro display is a little confusing to me. So we have progressive, which if I turn it on and off, you will see what it does. Basically, it fades in and fades out. This red bar sort of energy pulsing above the nameplate. It is very unclear to me what this is supposed to be. I will probably be able to figure this out once I'm actually in fights and can tell how it exactly looks. Now, this flash thing doesn't make sense to me. It looks stupid. If a nameplate just flashes and then continues to be the same color after the aggro changes or after the target of the mob changes, that is kind of useless. I think this progressive thing might be better because I think it stays there the full duration. So if I have aggro as the tank, this should be basically looking like this. It should have nothing. But if I don't have aggro as the tank, I'm assuming that it should look like this. I'm going to assume the same as a DPS. So there is that. Now, there are three different things that kind of do the same thing, which is it shows us the debuffs and buffs on enemies. Why are there three different ones? Well, because one is for enemy NPCs, one is for enemy players, and one is for friendly players. So three different things that can have nameplates, and you can choose what you see on each of them. There is one glaring issue with this, and that is personal debuffs does not actually just mean your debuffs. So let's say my Moonfire or my Thrash. It also shows other players' debuffs, which is useless to me. I don't need to know how much time a Warlock has left on their Agony before they need to refresh it. That is not useful information to me. So ideally, we would have a fourth thing here that shows other players' debuffs or other debuffs or whatever. But personal debuffs should be on and off, depending on whether I want to see my Thrashes and Moonfires and stuff like that or not. So a fourth option here would be most welcome. Furthermore, I do believe this requires filtering. I really do think that there has to be a way to determine which buffs and debuffs should show up and which buffs and debuffs should not. So a blacklist, whitelist sort of system or anything like that would be wonderful. I want to be able to see a Warlock's Curse to see if a cast is slower because of the Warlock's Curse of Tongues, but I don't want to see the Warlock's Agony because that doesn't change my decision-making process in the game. So that is something I feel is still missing here. A way to disable other players' debuffs, or at the very least filter them. I'd rather just disable them than filter them. There is also this thing, debuff padding, which basically determines how far above the nameplate buffs and debuffs are going to be. So if I set it to like something very high, you can see that they go way above. And I have it set to about 3 because that seems to get them right off the edge of the nameplate, so to speak. Maybe 2 would be better, but you get the idea. And then simplify nameplates is actually a nice little addition that they've added. Great English, sir. Thank you, sir. Anyway, you can choose to simplify the nameplates of all sorts of different units. I have it set for pretty much everything that it can be set for, and if I go down here where I can find some friendly players, their nameplates are teeny and tiny. I can see that they're casting something, but it's not very big on my screen, but I can see their position, and that's exactly what I'm hoping for. So if I'm a tank and I'm tanking these guys or whatever, I can see the position of my friendly units here, my friendly players, right in the midst of all these enemy nameplates. And I freaking love that. That is a great change. Now, you will notice there's flame shocks here. That's what I was talking about. I see other people's debuffs. I don't give a shit about your flame shock, bro. I don't care about the hunt or any of these other debuffs. So yeah, that is something that definitely needs some work. Overall, I am very, very happy with how these have turned out. I have a very strong feeling that these are going to work very, very well. Furthermore, I feel like their customization is going to be further improved by add-ons. Sure, add-ons won't be able to change their colors and change the text in them and stuff like that, but what they will be able to do is probably change how they look, maybe clean up some of the sort of size and textures and stuff like that. Those are things I do look forward to. So yeah, hopefully you learned about what nameplates are going to look like in Midnight. Sure, it's still the beginning of the beta, so there's still lots of room for improvement. If there's any big changes, I'll try to make a note of that in the comments, or maybe just make another video about it. Who knows? If you enjoyed this video, drop a like, make sure you subscribe because there's more videos coming. But as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.